just put a label on it, even if it doesn't change the circumstance. Because there's so much about this moment that is trying to make people feel like they've lost their mind. When in fact, these motherfuckers are crazy.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Friday. Thank everyone who was able to join me for an impromptu political discourse. I have not been live, so I wanted to get one in before the ladies of London. So much stuff has built up in the news. So thank all of you for joining me today for Sandra P's political discourse. If you're able to jump in during your lunchtime hour, I would appreciate that a great deal. And it's just good to see everybody. Okay, there we are. The painting, that's the beautiful painting by Navi Robbins. I would love to have a print of that to have on my wall here. I'm going to paint this room. I don't know what color, but it's going to be a deeper color than what I have now. These are the 4 of the 92%. I'm sitting there with them, just watching it burn down, y'all. I mean, is that what people want? Welcome in, Mama Bees. Thank you so much for joining me for a very impromptu political discourse. I'd received a few topics that I wanted to cover. And of course, there's been huge news on the Voting Rights Act. So I'll just kind of read what that means. Sunshine and Flowers, welcome in. It's so good to see you over here, my friend Sunshine and Flowers. I first met her in the YouTube streets over at one of my favorite content creators, Ms. Misha, IMO, where Misha speaks her speech. So thank you so much for jumping in during a quick political discourse, Sunshine and Flowers. It is good to see you live in the chat, and I hope you're having a happy Friday. Mama Bees, I hope you're having a happy Friday as well. Thank both of you. I was saying that this painting is by Navi Robbins, and he painted this after the election of last year, where we ended up with what we ended up with instead of the beautiful lady you saw at the beginning. Good to see you. Yes. Kamala Harris, who didn't we almost have it all? If I could sing like Whitney, I would bust out singing that right now. Didn't we almost have it all? But we just have to sit back and wait and see what color the wall is going to be, as Suge said, in the color purple. So I'm just trying to be up. This is going to be a beautiful weather where I am in Charlotte. So I'll get out, get some sun. That always makes me feel better, because we don't know what's going on now in this country. We'll see, though. We'll see. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, one of the first topics that I have was, of course, the huge news that came out from the Supreme Court about the Voting Rights Act. That is the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and it's looking like that we kind of are going back a few decades, as you can see from the thumbnail. That is one of the students that were just trying to go to school, and she's being yelled at and almost assaulted by people that don't want her to do that. But the Supreme Court, was it yesterday or day before, they had a 6-3 decision. So the judges that the person we have now was able to put up there for life on the Supreme Court have finally gotten to what a lot of them wanted. And I'll just read from a little bit of what it's about. Dismantled a key protection of the Voting Rights Act. It guaranteed that communities of color, meaning Black people, we'll just speak clearly, but they say communities of color, the right to fair congressional districts. So in the past, when gerrymandering was done, we could sue. There was an actual remedy for it. So you could have a certain percentage of, I'm in North Carolina. There is a district, it's the district I'm in, District 12. It was drawn to represent so that we would have kind of a proportionate amount of representatives in Congress per percentage of Black people in the state. So now they no longer have to do that. And it's a little scary, honestly. So it says SCOTUS, which is Supreme Court of the United States, delivers a 6-3 blow to voting rights. And says they gutted another major piece of the Voting Rights Act in a 6-3 ruling. So the court all but ended the right to fair congressional districts where they can elect the candidate of their choice. In lay terms, the court is allowing politicians to gerrymander people of color into silence. So what that means is they're able to basically dilute our vote, which is pretty scary, because we know that a certain demographic, what we have in office now, I'll just be clear, unless they are winning, they don't consider it fair. So the fact that they, right now, in the executive branch, you have all the numbers in the court, also all the numbers in the Senate, also Congress, but that's still not enough. You still want to rig the game a little bit more. So this is really, really interesting. Mama B says the blue states need to gerrymander all the Republican seats. Mama B's, I think that's what's happening. They're going to have to do a tit for tat. Now that does give me a little bit of hope, Mama B's. We know Virginia just had theirs on the ballot, California as well, and overwhelmingly people have said we want to be able to have proportionate numbers, because I feel like if you know that you're in the right, or that the case you're stating is the way that it should be, then you shouldn't need to cheat. You can just put your ideas up, have the other side put their ideas up, go head to head with a fair vote, and then the winner wins. But now it's nothing like that. As I said, people want to rig the game to silence the other side completely. And that is getting a little bit scary. They've been able to do that. Welcome in, Church 612. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. That's another one of my moderators who jumped in on a live. Yes, Virginia, Sunshine Flowers. Yes, I was so proud of them. I'm really happy for them. Of course, they have a governor now that is going to stand by them. Virginia is one of those states that could kind of go either way. They were purple. North Carolina used to be kind of purple, but unfortunately, we lost a lot of that when we ended up getting, we always had a Democratic governor. We had one-term Republican governor, Pat McCrory. He used to be a mayor of my city. When he was in Charlotte, he was pretty middle of the road. But when he went to the State House, when he went to Raleigh, he actually really became almost a Trumper. And they did a lot of the State House in North Carolina, when they were run by Republicans, they did a lot of gerrymandering here. And we were the case that actually it was nationwide. People were watching it because we had independent judges, and they said, this state is being gerrymandered. They call it surgical precision. And that's scary. They had, actually, my niece graduated from North Carolina A&T. That campus, it's not a large campus. The students were split up into 3 different voting districts on one campus. So that's how they would dilute the Black vote. You could have 100 Black people living on a street, and the street would be just divvied up so that you get 30 over here, 33 over here, and 40 over here. So we could never have a majority anywhere and send anyone. So we have 1 seat. Representative Alma Adams, I love her in Congress. I think she's in about her 3rd term. She's known as the lady with the hat. And she's always introducing legislation. She'll do stuff like children to have free lunch. I love Alma Adams. She was actually the one, her and I believe it was Lauren Underwood from Illinois, they wrote legislation about the HBCUs getting their money under President Biden. The other person jumped in and took credit for it, but of course, this person in office had nothing to do with HBCUs getting money. That was Representative Alma Adams and what she had done. So I always loved her, but we're supposed to have more representation than that. But that is what it is. So that's one of the things that had me, I don't know, a little bit down, but I'm trying not to let it bother me. Let me see what other topics we have that are kind of viral this week. Now, there are a few people that I feel like have put us on this track. I am on Threads. And if you watch Morning Joe, he's on MSNBC. Morning Joe is a big loudmouth. I can't watch him anymore. Him and his wife, Mika. She wasn't his wife when I first started watching it. They were both married to other people, but they're married to each other now. And I haven't watched him in a couple of years. But he used to have a professor on that I really liked, Eddie Glaude. But Eddie Glaude is one of these people he's so middle of the road and just trying to talk so calm and see both sides. And back in 2016, and he's being dragged for it now, he couldn't bring himself to vote for Hillary Clinton. I feel like that was the beginning of the slide when they let this person in office now win the first time. I think that is what just put everything downhill. But on Threads, they are dragging him on Threads. I'm going to bring that up and show you what he's going through on Threads, which I love. It's worse than the Maori sisters. Well, not both of them. I think it was Tia. I forget which one of them is the one that gets into it. The one with the Fox News husband, or he used to be. I don't think he works there now. So this is Eddie Glaude. He is trying to apologize for his stance. Now, this was him again in 2020. It's become increasingly clear, at least to me, that the majority of Republicans in Congress and the White House are an existential threat to the republic. So he said this in 2020, and someone named Maya Contreras, this is over on X. I don't have X, but she brought it to Threads. She said 65 million of us already knew this when we voted for Hillary in 2016. So then she's going to put up what he said. Let me see if I can. No, I didn't vote for Trump. I left the presidential ballot blank and voted. I can't see what he said he did. Let me put that one down and see if I can find it on the other screen. Sorry, everybody. I have no patience or respect for middle of the road people. That time is done. Thank you, Sunshine and Flower. There's another person, Mark Lamont Hill. Charlemagne's good for that. Like I said, I can't stand that either. It's too dangerous, especially when you're dealing with people that have no chill, no middle of the road. They are going pedal to the metal, and we have to meet them there. She didn't leave what he said, and I'm not over on X. So anyway, you can see who and what Dr. I don't know if he's a doctor. I know they call him Professor Eddie Glaude. He's one of those people. Same thing with Mark Lamont Hill, who I used to like Mark Lamont Hill a lot. One of my nieces was able to take a class from him. He taught at Morehouse at the time, and she was at Spelman, and they had a joint class that she took. And I always loved Mark Lamont Hill. He's over on YouTube now, but he got fired from CNN. He was one of the ones doing that middle of the road stuff too. And Charlemagne. So, okay, I'm going to show you some more of what Maya answered, because she cut off his answer, but he is in the news now. He has this righteous indignation. He is so upset about what's going on in the country, but he doesn't want to take responsibility for the fact that he was middle of the road and muddied the waters enough where we could have this person not once, but twice. And they dragged Joe Biden to hell over being old and dementia ridden and all this kind of stuff. Every time I see Uncle Joe, he's looking good to me. He probably just needs to go to bed at night and make sure he's getting his exercise in and eating right. That's a strenuous job for anyone. But this person up there now is up there in a whole diaper. And you see the way he just veers off whatever he's talking about. He's not well. There's no way his family loves him to let him be out and about like that. He's not well at all. Mama Bees says a no vote is a vote for the opposing party. I agree, Mama Bees. When you don't vote, you have voted, especially for ones that are already trying to rig the elections and cheat. Sunshine and Flower says, I didn't know that about Mark. Yes, I was so disappointed to find out. He's a Jill Stein supporter. He voted for Jill Stein even in 2020, which Joe Biden still won. But then this time we couldn't afford to do that. Jill Stein only shows her face every 4 years. I really don't even know what her positions are. Just the fact that she's not a Democrat whom they hate. And I'm not in love with them either, but you have to elect somebody that you can work with. Because you notice how you can't get out in the street and protest these people. I mean, well, no kings, but honestly, I'm not going to be out there with no kings. I'm afraid of what's going to happen eventually when they're out there protesting. Mama B says, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. We learned that as children, Mama Bees, and it's still true. It's even more true today, honestly. Exactly, Sunshine and Flower agrees. I'll put that statement back up because it is true. So I'm going to read a few more of what Maya answers to him when he's out here trying to be seen protesting, when he's part of the group that ushered this in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to get up off the 53% of white women that voted that in. Thank you to the 47%. They're trying to be allies. I mean, and you can't make somebody vote a certain way, but I wish that 47% were not so uncomfortable with confronting their sisters, mothers, friends with information and try to find out why would they put somebody in that has so little respect for women and for anybody that's unlike him. That's the scary part. He doesn't even respect the troops. They've been trying to drum out troops if they're not straight, male, white men. So that's kind of scary. She says, we have to think of voting as the starting point of civic participation, not the end result of it. If you want better candidates, you have to be in the community, actively working to support those candidates, petitioning for them, canvassing for them, making calls, donating to them. If they lose the primary at the local, state, or federal, then you vote for the candidate that will do the least harm and can win. That's always going to be the Democrat at the federal level. Why? Yeah, Texas was a really good example of that. I don't live in Texas, could never vote in Texas, but I, along with many other people, were watching Jasmine Crockett against James Tallarico. And this was somebody that was in the Texas State Senate, and he wanted to run for Senate instead of, I felt like he should have ran for Congress, and then Representative Crockett was running for the Senate. But the two of them went against each other, and the middle of the road Democrats are sending the middle of the road Democrat Tallarico up against, I don't know if it's Paxton or Cornyn, but Texas is red, and I'm really afraid for that seat. I don't know what's going to happen. They may end up with, I don't know if it's Cruz's seat or Cornyn, whomever it is, but they'll probably end up with 2 Republican senators again, because his followers are also really disrespectful to Black people and to Jasmine Crockett supporters. And she endorsed him, but she said that she is, looking forward to her next steps, because there were people that did not know that if she lost this, if she had given up her congressional seat, she's in Congress now, but at the end of this term, Jasmine Crockett's no longer in Congress, and she could do anything. I'm really proud of her. I don't know if she's going to hang a shingle and practice law or what she's going to do, but Texas is really missing out on someone that is wonderful. And I feel like a lot of times people always think they can put the genie back in the bottle. Honestly, in this case, I think so much damage has been done, even with this crazy war that we're at now. I don't know where we're going to end up after this. And prices are the least of it. If you've been here, I work in transportation at the airport, and it's kind of scary to see the number of troops that come through, because we're a hub, and they look younger and younger. 18 years old and 20 years old, to me, look so young, and they always travel with, I guess it would be their immediate commander or whomever that is. Those people are young too, y'all. They're like 30. Officers, things like that, they're like 30 years old. And then you have someone up there who called the troops suckers and losers. And then you got a drunk sitting there testifying before Congress, demanding another $1 trillion, and then cussing them out whenever he doesn't get the answer that he wants. So that you can see why political discourse right now is far and few between, but I'm aiming to do like 1 a week. I think that will be fair, but the news is so much, and it changes so much every day that would be a steady topic. All right, I'm going to share the screen. There is, I just spoke about the troops in the airport. Here is a woman, and she's talking about what's going on with the troops. They're drawing certain people out of the military. So I'm going to share this screen and let you see what she says. And let me know if you can hear this. All right. All right, that's not the one. Let's see. One moment. Okay.
A lieutenant in the Army. Okay? Obviously, I can't say her name.
I'm going to remove it and then add her again.
What is happening in the Army, not just at the supervisory level, I'm talking about at all levels. People are being reprimanded
Sorry about that. I'm
specifically.
going to have to rewind it. Let's see. Let me see if I can even rewind on Threads.
Okay.
What she has said so far, she's talking about people being reprimanded in the military. What they're trying to do is drum out as many women and people of color as they can. So far as even if you are up for a promotion or a raise, the drunk at the top has been pulling back and not even approving those.
So they are coming for them in the Army. I don't know if it's the Navy, the Marines, whatever it is, but she is telling me she's been in the Army over 14 years and never has she seen this type of turmoil targeting Black women. I don't know who I'm spreading this to or why, but I'm just letting you all know. All right? That's what's going down in the United States Army today. If you are a Black woman, listen up. I just sat next to a lieutenant in the Army. Okay? Obviously, I can't say her name. What is happening in the Army, not just at the supervisory level, I'm talking about at all.
I'm sorry, did the other one go? Okay, so we finished with her. Let me go back. All right, we just talked about Mark Lamont Hill. Yes, Professor Hill, over there on YouTube. And I'm a bees. Okay, there we are. Let me take that down. I feel like I had a few more topics. Okay, now this was just something that kind of interested me because years ago they had a law and order about this. This is called deed theft, y'all. If you have a property, if you already own your home or there's a senior person in your family that does, make sure that they are paying their property tax on time and watching out for this. And I'll show a little bit of what happened at this city council meeting. This is a person on Threads called, here's Kevin. Here we go. So that's a councilman. They've tackled him and arrested him. And this, let me let you see what this reporter's talking about.
Rikers last night for fighting for her father and pushing back against deed theft.
All right, let me put the sound. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why I'm so unable to get this together.
Taken to Rikers last night for fighting for her father and pushing back against deed theft. Deed theft is when predatory actors or thieves steal ownership of a home. My constituent, Carmela Charrington, is going through a complex case of deed theft. There's a way you can help her get out of Rikers and back into her home. This is my third day at the Brooklyn Supreme Court rallying in support for Carmela Charrington alongside the People's Coalition to stop deed theft. We're currently fundraising to fight the legal battle to keep her in her home and to protect her father. Go to the link in my bio, check out the GoFundMe page.
Okay, so I'll just read the story. So New York Councilman Chiosei, he was violently arrested by the NYPD in Bed-Stuy, that's Brooklyn, standing up for constituents who are fighting deed theft. For weeks, Osei has been trying to help the Charrington family. They've had their property stolen from them via this predatory practice, and the NYPD has arrested Osei, that's the council person, for standing up for them. So then there are people, of course, under the thread just cursing them out about how did the police jump in and arrest this person for standing up for a constituent. But y'all, what I remember years ago, there was this Law and Order. And of course, we know Law and Order is always based on things that happen in real life. This man had paid off a Harlem brownstone, and those properties are worth, they're in the millions now, but at the time, let's say it was like $500,000. And he had paid it off. His property was stolen from him. Somebody had went and transferred the deed into their name, because once a property is paid off, it's public record. Also, if you have a mortgage, they file that, that's public record as well. So there's a lot of seniors, they'll pay their property tax. And sometimes they get, in my city, they get a, there's been a moratorium. They don't have to pay property tax, or it is really, really discounted. But at the time, some people, once their property had gained so much in value, they couldn't afford the property tax sometimes, and they were losing their properties. So that's, this person's father is going through that. And the councilman was at the city council meeting. I guess he became irate and he was violently arrested by the police. So there's really kind of a war on the working class now. It's a little scary when you look at all the things that are happening in the news. And let me see, there was two kind of deep topics. So I will find something that is a little more fun. Okay, this is just a worker having one of those days. Let me hurry up and try to share this. All right, let's see. I think that's the right screen. Let me make sure I can share the sound as well. Okay, the sound is up. Make sure it's high. There we go.
Come in here and irritate the whole fucking shit. We already backed up. Only thing I asked her to do, just make fries. Because I already know you're going to be on some stupid shit tonight. Just stand over there and make fries, baby. I don't even want to bother you nothing. So I thought me putting you on fries would be an area where nobody's fucking with you and you ain't fucking with us. Then you making fries slow and shit. You going one by one. I don't know what her problem is right now, but you're not going to come in here and irritate the whole fucking shit. We already backed up. Only thing I asked her to do, just make fries. Because I already know you're going to be on some stupid shit tonight. I don't know what her problem is right now, but you're not going to come in here and irritate the whole fucking shit. We already backed up. Only thing I asked her to do, just make fries. Because I already know you're going to be on some stupid shit tonight. Just stand over there and make fries, baby. I don't even want to bother you nothing. So I thought me putting you on fries would be an area where nobody's fucking with you and you ain't fucking with us. Then you making fries slow and shit. You want one by one. I don't know what her problem is.
That was actually it was a longer video than that. The guy was recording her. Of course, the manager didn't know that she was being recorded. And when he pulled up to the window and looked at her like, what's going on? She just busted out laughing. And she apologized. He was like, oh, that's all right. But she didn't want to send the young lady home, because usually you come in with that kind of attitude. If they have someone else that can do your job and she's making fries, they'll just go ahead and send you home. But I thought that was so funny. This lady's like, okay, just make fries, because you don't mess with anybody. We won't mess with you. And then the girl, how do you make fries one by one? I don't know if she meant one order by one. You dropping in one fry by one? I don't know what was going on at that McDonald's, but I found that really funny. But I think it's hilarious when you have a job coming in with an attitude, but it's facing the public. And making fries is kind of facing the public. So I found that a little bit funny. Okay, let me see what else we had. Oh, okay. This is a follow-up. I hope that I can, let me put this on here. This is a follow-up from last year. Let me share the screen. Oh, it's showing a commercial. All right. And let's see if we can hear this.
News exclusively reported on last year. A woman, Shadija Romero, booked an Airbnb owned by Roshan Douglas. Now, Romero paid 30 days in advance, then asked to extend her stay, stopped paying, and wouldn't leave for months. Well, finally, in December, a judge ruled the homeowner could kick her out, which she did, and our cameras were there rolling. But now, as Felicia Ashley reports only on 7 News, the former squatter is suing the homeowner for $500,000, claiming designer items that she had in the house are gone.
Before the hearing even started, the judge dismissed 2 of the former squatters' 3 claims. The homeowner, Roshan Douglas, told me that she does plan to file a dismissal for that 3rd claim, the claim that some of the squatters' personal property was either damaged or went missing. Take a look at this 7-page list of mostly designer items that Romero claims were lost or damaged when she...
Let me stop it for a second, because the news actually put this on YouTube. So I don't want them to strike me for sharing. And let me just go ahead and refer to the banner where it's covered under Copyright Act of 1976, Section 107, for criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And anything I'm sharing is used under fair use. But this is that lady that rented an Airbnb. She paid for whatever amount of time she paid, and then she refused to move out. And the homeowner was almost on the verge of losing her property. This lady, the squatter, she was eventually evicted. She has the nerve to be suing now for designer items.
The boots. Did you get a moment to look at that list?
I did look at that list, and I did not see any of those things in that property.
Here's a look. Romero claims she had 2 pairs of Meta glasses, sunglasses from Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada, Chanel, and Versace. High-end designer earrings, a white Chanel, denim Chanel, and 3 mini Chanels with no explanation of what type of item she's referencing. Hermes scarves, designer bags, the list goes on for 6 more pages. We're pulling the whole business out of here. Basically, Romero is claiming when the Douglases put her out, her items were damaged or taken. But after the December hearing, 7 News was there as Romero got in a car. Then she walked around Judiciary Square a bit. Then she got back in the car and posted these videos on her social media page for her followers.
It is what it is at this point. I don't really care.
This is ring camera video from the Airbnb's property around 8 p.m.
Where should he go?
When Romero and the people with her...
Look how she left her stuff. She left all that stuff there. So it must have been junk. I would have trashed it.
Arrived.
Y'all scared? Open the door!
When she came to get her stuff around 8 p.m., did she take everything with her?
No, she looked like she picked through it and took what she wanted to take. And when we came back the next day, we ended up cleaning up the rest of it, and she never came back.
Romero made it clear she is not letting this go. She's already filed a motion for the court to reconsider the claims the judge already dismissed. And for their part, for the Douglases, this was such a horrible experience that they sold their former Airbnb property this week. For now, reporting from...
That's a shame. Those people had to sell their property after that bum moved in and didn't want to pay him. Welcome in, CC. Thank you so much for joining us during this live. Hello, Sandra, Peach, and Xtra Mama Bees, Trish 612, and chat. We had Sunshine and Flowers in here as well. Everyone speaking to CC, Mama Bees. Thank you, Mama Bees. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and share the live to keep the channel in the algorithm. Thank you. The audacity. Yes, she did. She ended up suing the lady. Meanwhile, she was able to stay there for a long time. And she had a business. She was running a business in there. She was a content creator and she was like selling candles and stuff out of the lady's property and never paid her again. They had to file for eviction. And it was in a state, it might have been Pennsylvania, where you can't just kick somebody out. There's a lot of renter protection laws. So Airbnb, I think people are, DC, thank you. Thank you, Mama Bees. That happened in DC last year. Welcome in, Kiwan JTV. Thank you for coming into the live. Good to see you. I appreciate it. Everyone in here, if you do not know, Kiwan JTV is one of my fellow content creators, covering some really good content over there, expanding to not just reality TV, but also scripted shows, and then mention documentaries as well when she gets time. So that's going to be really interesting. Yeah, that happened in DC last year, Mama Bees. The nerve of the lady. I don't know. I'd be afraid to have a property as an Airbnb because you can take one tenant from hell, which this lady was, and that woman had to sell her property. Not had to, but just decided to go ahead and sell her property. So Kiwan J, I had started off on political discourse. Those topics were kind of down. It was the Voting Rights Act basically being gutted. And then I was speaking a little bit about the troops. So I will I put some fun topics in here. So we'll just see whatever else we can talk about a little bit while we're on live. And then later this afternoon, about 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing the live review for Ladies of London. So if you can come back and join me for Ladies of London, I will be glad to see you. Okay, let's see if you can recognize this person. All right, why is he silent? He's never this silent. This is from reality TV with the King, Carlos. There we are.
That's you're going to come in with.
That's just bringing you in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I remember with Fallon, it was the same thing with you. And I remember saying to the world, like, I'm not Portia apologist, but what I need you guys to understand as a producer is there wasn't a friendship there. And I think when it came to you, did you not think at the time that, oh shit, they're going to think I took this woman's husband?
You know, here's the thing. I take full accountability for my part in the optics. Okay. And I take full accountability for not speaking to the narrative once again. At that time, I just didn't feel like it was my place. You know, the things that I knew about her and his relationship, it did not feel like it was my place. I had heard her do an interview and she was like, well, if I'm pregnant, I'll say so.
Okay, I was trying to pause that because Carlos is on YouTube. I'm sure he strikes because that is his content. But this is from the Bravo Shade Room. Cece, you are just in time, okay? So I didn't watch this full interview with Carlos yet, but it's going viral. They're going to get a lot of views. Portia, of course, is looking beautiful. I think she's trying to clean up a few things because the things that myself and others use against Portia, it's been going on for years, taking a friend's husband and all of that. So she addressed it. Now, Fallon is out. Fallon, we don't care at this point. You're not coming back on the show to explain it. So you're really not going to get the answer, Portia. You don't have the platform to do that. But Portia is saying that it wasn't her place to speak on it. As you can see, she said. So there's Fallon. So she ended up with Fallon's husband, who was Simon at the time. And Fallon was pregnant by an employee of Simon and hers. I forgot the young man's name, but he was the trainer, the pool boy, the somebody. She was actually in couples retreat with that same young man. I can't remember if she finally married him or not. I know he came out later and said he felt groomed. So this whole thing is a mess. And she mentioned something about a scarlet letter. Here it is. If it wasn't her place to speak at the time, believes that she has shared the information that might have freed her from the shackles of the scarlet letter. I don't know if anything can free Portia from the shackles of the scarlet letter. In fairness, I will say Carlos, in being a producer on the show, let me take that down for a minute. Carlos being a producer on the show, he did explain. So I'll correct myself. I said, she came into a friend's house and left with the husband. I've said it numerous times. Fallon and Portia were not friends. Cece, I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but now it's true. Carlos has been a producer. He knows how reality TV works. He says they choose someone on the cast to usher you in, and Portia was the person that was kind of ushering Fallon in. Now, Fallon was a friend of, but not a friend of Portia, a friend of the show. That whole situation, they're now divorced. Simon is a scammer. He spent time with ICE in the freezer, and then he was finally deported. We've seen him broadcasting from Dubai and everywhere else. I guess he's finally back in Nigeria. I don't know. Portia has the house. Their marital home. She is filming in the house this season. So congratulations to Portia. Another thing I will give Portia, she's able to, I have gotten on Portia about, Portia, how come we're not seeing Go Naked? That's her hair business. How come we are not seeing Portia Sheets or whatever the name of that is? She spoke to Carlos about that. She has an upcoming Forbes. I'm not sure if they are covering her in something like top reality TV, whatever. I don't know if she is the richest reality TV woman. I don't believe that because Stormy is back on TV. She's on Bell Collective. So I don't know Melody Cherie's finances. She's not on a reality show right now, so we wouldn't be able to count those. But Stormy, I believe, I don't know. Again, we'll have to see about that. Pinky has different bankruptcy filings that she's going through. And also the Beverly Hills ladies. Kyle owns half of the agency, and that's $100 million business. So I don't know if that is just Portia and Carlos bragging and pumping up the numbers, but I have to watch the whole interview. I haven't watched all of it yet, but it looks pretty good because it seems like Portia's answering things that she's being criticized for. And I like Portia for TV, but I'm critical of her when she's doing that Portia thing, playing dumb. As Cynthia told her, you're not that stupid and dumb. She's not. She's playing dumb, which is a role. It's entertaining, but I do like the fact that she's over there answering some questions. Kiwan J spoke, hey, my ladies in the chat. Let me see what CC is saying. Women should not date married men. Let them get a finalized divorce. Also, married men should not have relations with the help and then become pregnant. See, I fixed it for everyone. Exactly, CC. CC put up a statement that none of us can disagree with. Simon was a married man. He should not be dating. Portia should not be in the DMs offering to pray for him if she's not offering to also pray for Fallon. Fallon, as the woman of the house, the married woman in that situation, should not be pregnant for someone that's not her husband. And we do now that was the case. Yeah, we saw what you meant, CC. Yes, Fallon. She was pregnant and she had his baby. I don't know if they're married now, but he's so young. He was saying he felt groomed. So that was kind of crazy when he said that. He said that after they went on couples retreat. So that is a trip. Isn't LVP richer than all of them? I think so too. Maybe she means current reality TV people. But wait a minute, isn't LVP, I think she has a show. She's doing some kind of, I didn't watch it, but I have Peacock and they were showing me, they were suggesting, you know how they say for you, suggesting some kind of Vanderpump Castle or something. They shoot abroad and they bring people that were on her staff because they had Stassi over there. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Kiwan JTV says, this is why she needs to be off the show. She's doing the same thing Robin did, but Robin went behind the paywall. They should be talking about this on the show. Yeah, Kiwan JTV, I agree with that because I saw Fallon trying to say something. I wasn't going to say anything if she didn't say anything. I don't believe you, Fallon. Every time you hear Simon or Portia or whatever, you're going to want to get in it to defend your name. But as Cece said, you were pregnant by the help. We don't need to hear any more from Fallon. But I get Portia trying to clear up her reputation. I don't know how much this will help. But again, in fairness, I haven't watched the full interview. But if she, again, we should hear this on the show. Now, one of the other moderators that comes in from time to time, Linda Gamble, she was saying that she read somewhere that Bravo TV or Andy, they are supposed to start reprimanding them for talking about things outside of the show and that she shouldn't be doing a full Carlos in-depth interview while the show is still airing. I don't know how Portia or any of them are getting away with that. And I thought that Andy had told them he didn't want them talking to Carlos King, because honestly, Kenya did an interview with Carlos King. Kenya ended up, she did what she did with Britt Eady, but she ended up losing her job. I don't know. Who knows if they're related? I think it's a trip. This isn't helping Portia. She's 2 years too late. Yeah, she likes to play with the audience. She does a lot to play with the audience. And I found an old, let me see if I can find this old clip of Portia from back in the day. Okay, I think I found it. Let me see. I'm going to share this. She looks like Lauren here. Let me see if I can.
I said you ain't in that clique.
Let me see what part.
But how many of us know that it's because of those
iniquities
that God created the helmet of salvation in the first place?
The helmet of salvation, y'all.
He was watching his people back then. He was looking down from heaven like this. Just like this is what I think he looked like. And he said, look at him over there trying to sue somebody because they hit his car. Look at her over there, trying to sleep with this man and she knows she ain't getting married. Look at this child over here cheating on his head. He saw everything that had to do with sin on earth. And he decided at that very moment that he was going to save the world. That's what salvation is. He decided he was going to send his son, his holy son. Don't take that for granted. How many of y'all would just give somebody your son or your daughter? But he did
she preaching, y'all. This is the same sermon. I didn't put in the timestamp. That's the same sermon where she was preaching against fire and brimstone, against gays and lesbians. And now she's up here on our TV screen with Sway. And I think that Sway and Portia do have a real relationship, unlike her and Big Mike. I don't believe that at all. Now, in fairness to her, she did apologize. Welcome in, American Born. Good to see you. Happy Friday at Sandra P's Gen Xtra. And American Born is speaking to everyone. CC speaking to American Born. Good to see you. CC, no, it didn't age well. Didn't age well at all. Now, she's apologized. Yeah, Portia could preach. Not her preaching. Now she has a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Kiwan J, I said it's the evolution of Portia. Portia's something else. Portia is an actress. Portia will give you anything that she believes you want to see from her. And I think that's what makes her kind of a fan favorite. To me, I find it phony. I don't like it at all. Is she entertaining? Yes. Now, let me see. She had an apology, so I'll put the apology up to be fair.
And I felt that my heart was heavy and it was imperative for me to address the issue at hand. First, let me say that God loves all of his children. And although some people discriminate against others because of their race, their religion, their sexual orientation, their status in life, that we're all worthy of God's love. The sermon that was shown not in its entirety, therefore the message was omitted. I apologize that those words hurt the LGBT community, my fans, and my supporters. Life is a journey and I'm growing every day. And I continue to encourage everyone to love each other unconditionally. I woke up this morning disturbed.
That was a pretty good apology.
I woke up this morning disturbed.
I mean, she did apologize. I guess Andy Cohen or someone kind of encouraged. She looked a lot like Lauren there too. But I don't know. Let me show you this still of her. Okay, Portia, looking away. Portia's a big liar. I'm sorry. Portia is a big liar. She's an actress. Cece said that didn't age well. And she did apologize. And Portia's one of those people you don't want to stay like disgusted or angry with her or anything like that. So she's easily forgiven for a lot of things that she does, even when she apologizes. That's a trip. American Born said Portia's always liked the girls. She told Carlos King since she was about 7 or something, she always knew she liked girls and boys. Well, basically, she said she was like pushing belly buttons together and she didn't care what's under the belly button. I said, Portia, oh my goodness. Because when Candy mentioned that, she tried to out Candy and Candy says, well, you too. And then Candy, remember what Candy said? And Portia was very upset about that. She, interestingly enough, she never tried to jump on Candy because Candy she's small, but I think that Candy could probably hold her own. I don't believe the Mike guy either. Yeah, that to me, that's the made for TV relationship. It doesn't help American Born that both of them have been on different Tubi or Lifetime movies and that sort of thing. So yeah, I don't believe that. Look how much she's changed since then. Yes, I mean, she was always pretty. She always has the same thing about her face, but there are significant changes. That's how Lauren looks. So she looked more like her sister at that time, but she has changed a lot. I knew from that age as well, always like girls. Yeah, I mean that age that anybody starts a lot having little crushes on people, I think it would be 5 or 6 or 7. So yeah, that is true. At least she didn't say if I offended. Yeah, see, that's never been a real apology. She sincerely apologized and said God loves all his children. I believe that she believes that. I believe that. I think God does love all his children. At least she didn't say if I offended. I hate that. Just apologize for your actions and mean it. The apology will be received or not. Yeah, and I think that the fact that she came back and quickly apologized, especially when she got on the show, this might have been years later, that people they're not going to hold that against Portia. So I have to go back and watch the whole interview. But again, I'm curious as to this speaking outside of the shows, how that is going to go, especially for K. Michelle. I didn't save anything from K. Michelle. I'm not on Twitter, but from IG,
I woke up this morning.
I get it from IG when. Let me see if anybody else spoke on that.
I woke up this morning disturbed.
I'm trying to silence that, y'all, while I'm looking, but that's because I'm in YouTube. 1 minute. Let me see if I can find anything with K. Michelle. K. Michelle is going back and forth. Portia already addressed her. Portia already said she apologized. She didn't mean it that way. I don't know if she did or didn't, but K. Michelle is not accepting it, and she's trying to link up with other people to get into it with Portia. And I don't think that's going to go well for K. Michelle. I don't think that's going to go well at all. So she's doing a lot of back and forth with Portia, which I don't think is good. Let me see if she has anything up here recently. Okay, here we are. Actually, this is from Bravo Shade Room. So I'll go back in and show that. All right, I'm sorry. I just had it. Now I can't see. She takes full accountability. All right, we just saw that. She talked about Simon again. Okay, there we are. And let me share this. And then I'll let her tell it a little bit, and then we will discuss it.
It could be a friend. If you're in any group and you are talking to somebody and they don't have a heart to understand you, they don't want to understand you. It could be for whatever reason, ratings, or want to be right, or just want to see what's wrong. They're never going to understand. They're never going to actually say out loud, "Oh, I understand," because they're too busy trying to do something else, whatever that else may be. So I said, okay, cool. So at this point, I know what else happens in the season, and although she's funny and she's adorable, I don't know how it's going to go over. I don't think that what was happening with her and Drew is going to go over as well as maybe she thinks it will. I don't. And I think, if I'm being honest, I think that when she looks back at this first season, she'll probably be like, oh, I probably chose the wrong team. And I probably should have gone about things in a more authentic way.
You think this is the team that she told to show me a Pinky?
I don't know, because I wasn't privy to those conversations. I wasn't,
Again, here she is telling a lot of stuff that it hasn't even happened yet. Can we watch the show? It hasn't even happened yet. And Portia is already telling Carlos King. She's giving him an exclusive. They have an after show, but it's after show. It's for Bravo. She's giving an exclusive to Carlos King. And he'll say until his dying day, they didn't fire me, I quit. I think they fired him. In my opinion, I believe they fired him. But K. Michelle's going to get into it with Drew. What did Drew do to K. Michelle? And then Portia's mentioning teams. Now we know they'll click up. They'll do that. She said K. Michelle might have chose the wrong team. Oh, this is going to be interesting, everybody. See, I didn't even know that was going on. I didn't know. I'd saved a few things and didn't really read them yet as far as this, because it started out as a political discourse. Realize she chose the wrong team. The season will be a learning lesson for her. They say they're eating her up over there on Twitter, K. Michelle. So let me go through and read the comments, see if any of you know any more than I do about this Drew K. Michelle beef. And what does Portia mean? The audience is not going to like what she does to Drew, because the audience drags Drew. I like Drew. I don't like when Drew start lying and acting clueless and acting. And I don't like when Drew does that. But I hope K. Michelle is not going to go too far with Drew. Y'all, I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Okay, let's. American Born says, I never acted at it at that age. I was in the Catholic schools then. The nuns were scary. I can imagine that, American Born. You weren't the only little girl that were probably feeling that way. I'm going to speak about it on Ladies of London. I just don't believe in trying to make people feel like they're the only one or something like that. And at that age, you can't judge what anybody feels. And feelings are subject to change. Key1 JTV, y'all know I can't stand an apology with the word if. Yeah, it just negates the whole thing. I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm sorry if you felt offended. Be sorry for what you said and then try not to do that again. Or I'm sorry if you're extra sensitive. Maybe they're not extra sensitive. Maybe you're rude. K. Michelle is an exhausting person. I knew she was going to grate my gears on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Cece, I didn't want her on here. Only I felt like she didn't belong. But she came. I was really impressed with her the first maybe 2 episodes. But she is exhausting. She does do a lot. Portia did quickly apologize. And K. Michelle, I think, accepted it at the time. But then in the confessional, now we find out she's still upset. So I don't know how that's going to go across. Welcome in the Anitra J, not that Anitra, the Anitra. Good afternoon, Sandra Peace, Gen Xtra, and chat. I already hit the like button. Thank you so much. Those of you who may have not hit the like button yet, please do so. And I appreciate that so much. Thank you. And if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. CC speaking to the Anitra J. And American Born is laughing at CC. I'll leave her alone. She has Sandra cloak. Yeah, hey, look, American Born. I put the cloak of immunity over all the first season housewives, and then some of the ones I reserve the right to, if they've been there, I can put it over them if they need it. Lord, I think Drew might need it. But listen, people over here don't care. They can drag them if they want to. So CC, if she gets ready to drag K. Michelle, she's going to do it, cloak or not. Let me see if I can change that, since I was talking about K. Michelle. There we go. There go the cloak. K. Michelle definitely has it. She needs it. But y'all, do y'all think she's too sensitive for this audience? You can't go to Twitter. If Portia went to Twitter every time somebody called her out of her name or accused her of this or that, she'd stay on Twitter. I don't think this is going to end well for K. Michelle. You can't fight the audience like that. There's too many of them. All right, let me make sure I don't miss any comments. American Born says she better be careful. She will get fined. Yes, American Born, we know Candace said that she was fined between $35,000 and $50,000 for her tweets, not just tweets, but social media activity. So K. Michelle might get one of them short checks. Dr. Kaz is not bringing in an income yet, K. Michelle. You need your whole check. American Born says Drew came for K. Michelle over her being a singer. She did, but that was a little silly. Like, does she still sing? I think whatever K. Michelle's going to do might be above and beyond if Portia says the audience might not like it. Because you know that Drew does get dragged, except for Key1 JTV. I love Drew. And she does. She tries to protect Drew. Key1 JTV, you know people do drag Drew. And they feel like Drew is always being an actress. I don't. I feel like she will act. I don't believe the Her and Black storyline. I don't buy it. And I think her and Ralph early on, they would kind of act like the perfect couple, but you could see the cracks when he couldn't help himself and he would drag her. Like one dinner they had and he was like, you just deserve a Lunchable. And her face kind of dropped. Sometimes Drew would be shocked at the way Ralph would treat her on screen. So I do think that she does act. It's not all the time. You can see sometimes the real her come out. I love when the real Drew comes out. Mama B speaks to the Anitra J. Yes, thank you for coming in during the live, the Anitra J, and liking the live. I appreciate that. I was furious last night how Margot acted. That means for F's sake, y'all. So she got American Born cussing. Yes, if you're able to be here at 3 p.m. Eastern, I will review the whole thing. That's Ladies in London, everybody. It's season 4, but it's really season 1 because this is a new cast. And Margot is the ugly American. She's acting terrible and lying. She's doing everything. She's terrible. The Anitra J is blowing kisses and American Born is laughing. American Born, you know good and well, Drew knew she was a singer, so they being shady to each other. Yeah, Drew didn't even have to do that. It was like, okay, you drew first blood and you didn't have to do that. You know K. Michelle is extra sensitive and she's going to fire back. And you hit her with a BB gun and she's going to pull out a bazooka. So I'm thinking that there's a bazooka coming. Portia, you're giving us little hints, but we need to know more of what's going on. Y'all know I windmill for my girl, except when she's wrong. Yeah, that's fair. You are objective. That's why I do like watching your reviews. Somebody can easily get cussed out, but they can come back the next week and they can be redeemed. So I do like that. And I won't lie, I have my favorites, certain ones I enjoy and I like them. I try to help them, but sometimes I got to even cut bait with certain ones. I'm still trying to cover Shamia with the cloak. And this is Shamia's second season. Shamia is in her sophomore season and it's still a disaster. And now we're seeing something about teams. Shamia first started that alliance mess last year. She tried to get with the new girls, except Angela, which really, I mean, to do all of that in front of the audience's face. I don't know. I don't know how smart Shamia is. I think out of the two of them, Portia may be smarter than Shamia. Shamia, she's a little bit of an airhead. She can be kind of a dumbbell. Thank you, CC, for keeping up. 10 likes, 6 in the chat. Thank you so much. So we've had people come and gone. Thank you. American Born says, okay, did you see Lady Emma and Martha on Watch What Happens Live last night? No, I didn't. I'm going to go ahead and watch it before I do the review at 3 p.m. So I'll be fully caught up and we can cover like all the stuff that's on the show and in the news if you're able to come back. Shamia has not bothered me. Key1JTV, she doesn't bother me. I'm just disappointed in her. I don't feel like she's doing a great job with all that she has to offer. I don't even know why she can't whip Gerald into shape. He's in there like a hostage every show. Like, do you want to go? I couldn't have my husband out there like that. At least Charles, he may make Angela look stupid sometime, but at least he's going to give us a little bit of something to laugh at. Gerald is just like, Gerald, why are you here? Why are you here? You're not going to do any more than that. So it's a trip. Y'all, can we make it to an hour on political discourse? Let's see. We are, I think, at 40-something minutes. I don't know why I always lose like the amount of time I have. I feel like it was 40-something minutes, but now I don't know where to find it. And let's see. We just discussed. There may be another real. Oh, Kenya. Kenya posted something and Candy put it up. So let me see what that is. No, that is old. 1 minute. Let me take that down. I was looking at it this morning. Kenya posted Candy. I don't even know what I did with it. I don't think I copied the right link. I'll try to find it later. Let me see if she's done anything else meanwhile. I don't think so. Not since her salon got put out while she was over there in Japan. Yeah, that was a mess. I felt so embarrassed for Kenya. Kenya didn't look like she was embarrassed, though. She looked like, keep on trucking. Which, I mean, I guess that's all you can do. What's she supposed to do about it at this stage of the game? Okay, I'll bring this up because I mentioned it but didn't show the video. So since that one's readily available, we'll see what he says here. His voice.
$5 million empire. Talk to us about the many business endeavors that you do have.
Well, Go Naked just reached over $10 million in sales. And I've had Go Naked here 10 plus years. And that's a huge accomplishment for me and my business and my partners. And well, not partners because I don't have any partners, but I would say our staff.
You own it 100%.
100% own Go Naked Hair. And we just reached over $10 million. Pampered by Portia, I've had over 7 years, and we have also reached over millions. What I have to say for people who say Portia is dumb or bimbo, it's just words. Continue to do so. I mean, I post enough on my page. Sometimes people, when they come to my Instagram and they see some of my posts, they're like, hell, I didn't know it was on Portia's page. Because I will repost 265. Me saying 265 days a year. I will repost Underground Railroad. I repost it all. Because at the end of the day, who don't say crazy shit sometimes? Who the hell is sitting at home with their family and they been like, oh, you the bimbo of the family? Like, it happens. People say crazy things. It is what it is. But
at least she tried to big up her business. I think that's pretty good. And then y'all hear her say she don't really care if we're making fun of her.
Women are multifaceted. I am goofy as hell, okay? Like,
Have a
What is
laugh,
that at?
because I'm gonna have a laugh too. But just know, on my laugh, I'm laughing to the damn bank.
You have handled by
That's
Portia.
true.
You have go naked hair. You have all of these things, and you get a cute check from Housewives, child.
Yes.
How much are
And
you?
I have a all-around deal with NBC Universal. I have
Right.
a production company. I think maybe some
that's
points
right.
I have done myself an injustice in not popping my shit.
You talk about all your businesses. How much?
Okay, I can't disagree with her there. You know what? I'll give it up to any other ladies that's ready to pop their collar. We've seen Miss Pinky Cole do that. So I'm glad Portia can laugh at us calling her dumb and all this kind of stuff. Because like she said, she laughing all the way to the bank. So keep laughing to the bank. That's cool. All right, let me see. We're going to finish up with the comments. I feel okay. That is it, everybody. We are right here at an hour. Perfect. Everyone, thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra on this beautiful Friday. I hope you get out, enjoy the weather. And those of you that are able to come back at 3 p.m. Eastern, we will do the live Ladies of London. They wrapping everything up, y'all. They said next week was the last episode, but it looked like they wrapped it up this week. Thank you so much, Cece, for doing the housekeeping. Replay gang, hit the like button, drop a comment, and let's hype this video up. Yes, everybody, Team Replay, thank you for hyping me. I really appreciate that. That helps keep me in the algorithm. American Born, thank you. See you later. Yes, I hope you can make it, and we will talk about Ladies of London. See you later. Cece says, have a blessed day and weekend, everyone. Thank you, Cece. You do the same. Thank you all for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra, and I will see you in the YouTube streets. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Just put a label on it, even if it doesn't change the circumstance. Because there's so much about this moment that is trying to make people feel like they've lost their mind. When in fact, these motherfuckers are crazy.